health crisis pops up in the drain itself.
I'm just sick of the protesting in general, and that's why it's so very important to be prepared.
101.9 and 94.1.
St. Louis's #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL. This hour of Colombo and Company brought to you by Gutter Pros. Water goes where we tell it. Call 314-656-7195 or visit them at gutterpros.com.
Hello and welcome to Thursday afternoon. The world still reacting to the presidential election and all of the elections that went down on Tuesday night. We are going to continue the conversation about the national and local fallout as we go through the show this afternoon. We will be joined by, Colombo and Company, lots of company. I'm Tony Colombo, by the way. Producer Emily is in studio with me as well. My friends from the Bluff City Outdoors show, my Saturday show that you can hear, my weekend show that you can hear every Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sundays at noon. It's not just Saturdays. Mark McMurray and Mike Marfell will be a part of the show in the 3 o'clock hour today. We're also going to talk to Missouri State Representative Justin Sparks, who was such a key part of our election coverage on Tuesday night. He's going to join us here in just about 15 minutes from now, and joining us now on the line, and I think he's going to be here for bulk of this 2 o'clock hour. We're kind of flying by the seat of our pants, but that doesn't mean that brothers don't shake hands. Brothers got a hug. Crane Durham is with us.
And as we embrace, there's a tear in my eye of joy because of the wonderful result of Donald J. Trump being elected as 47th president of the United States. 45 becomes 47. Bam, baby. And I love it.
45 and 47, and history made, obviously, on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, I guess, technically, when it finally was decided or announced. Crane, you and I have both gotten heat in the past for not being Trump sycophants, for not being, for being very willing to criticize Donald Trump when we see that criticism is appropriate. However, I, like you, am very happy that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz will not be running this country further into the ground and continue on this dreadful, dangerous path that Biden and Harris and the Democrats have put us on. I think that Donald Trump is going to do a lot of great things. I think that he has proven that he can do a lot of great things for the economy and other areas, the border, crime. I think he's going to do some, I think we're going to have some very positive steps in those directions. But just as importantly, we're also going to stop going down this ridiculous, extreme, progressive, woke path. And again, just as important as the things that he's going to do are the things that he's going to stop, in my opinion. Your thoughts?
I couldn't agree with you more. And obviously, we'll continue to have our opinions when it comes to President-elect Trump or former president. What should I go with there?
President-elect, former, yeah. Just, you know what? President Trump.
President Trump.
President Trump.
Yeah, but there's a lot of good. And yes, we're rejecting the insanity of the woke agenda. And that's big time because now kids won't be getting butchered. You will allow parents to make decisions because we don't want 5-year-olds, 7-year-olds, or 11-year-olds making decisions about their bodies that could end up harming them for the rest of their life. and how important that is. And even though I feel like at times a 65-year-old, I can't identify as one because even though it might benefit me economically with Social Security, who knows? My point is, we're getting back to sanity, reasonableness, common sense. That's a beautiful thing. The other thing is the First and Second Amendment were protected with this victory, and that's beautiful.
The blame game is underway in the Democratic circles. Who to blame? They're blaming Tim Walz. They're blaming white women. They're blaming women in general. They're blaming Hispanics. They're blaming. I mean, the blame game is underway, and we're gonna get in.
Was there something along the lines? Not to interrupt, but
No,
did somebody say that some of the minorities and for that matter, majorities, whatever it may be, but weren't smart enough?
Oh, yeah.
Too stupid.
Oh yeah.
Too stupid.
Yeah. No, Sonny Hostin was coming for uneducated white women today on The View. Uneducated white women. I mean, that was her target. Uneducated white women was her target today. And as I mentioned yesterday, and we've talked about this, listen, Donald Trump, we talked, we always had this idea of a 50-50 nation. It's 50-50. That's why it could go either way, because the nation is so evenly divided. You cannot. So when you look at that, if you accept that as true, then you cannot say that Donald Trump has the massive victory that is still shaping up for him. It's not all over yet. In the end, it could be, as many as 312 or 313 electoral votes, possibly. He won the popular vote, which is absolutely, I don't think anybody saw that happening, at least not as
No,
solidly.
they don't know what to blame now.
Yeah.
First it was the Electoral College, now it's the popular vote.
Yeah.
What do we do now?
Now
We
what
gotta
can you
blame
do?
somebody.
Yeah, now what can you do? You can't blame it on the Electoral College anymore. So, but my point is that if it would have just been like he got what he was supposed to get and she got what she was supposed to get, it would have been, 50-50, and who knows who would have won. She would have won the popular vote. Probably, maybe he still wins the electoral vote, maybe not. But in order for him to have won as soundly and as overwhelmingly as he did, he had to get votes he had to get a lot of votes from Hispanics, from black people, from women, from union members.
I thought he was racist.
Exactly. It was.
And did Hitler get a lot of votes from Jews?
That's what happened? Yeah. It was those
Orange Hitler.
It was those demographics. It was those communities that allowed this to be such an overwhelming victory for Donald Trump. Because if he you can't do it alone with white guys. There's not enough white guys to win an election the way that he just won it. And I know that there are plenty of white guys that voted for Kamala Harris as well. I'm just saying, that's what the media and the Democrats would have you believe, that, it's only God-fearing, gun-toting Christian white guys who are, uneducated that vote for Donald Trump. Well, there's not enough of those. Okay. There's not enough of those. So in order to have the victory that he did, he had to make giant inroads with the Hispanic community, with the black vote, with the female vote, with the union vote. I mean, and he obviously
sounds like a uniter.
That. Yes.
He sounds like a uniter. My heavens.
Yes.
Orange Hitler, a uniter. How is that? Oh, could it be
the
mainstream media and the far left, the Democratic Party, I speak again, the Democratic Party has hijacked an agenda and had no defense of it. So they just pointed at somebody and said that they were the Orange Hitler and exaggerated and took things out of context, much like they do with history. That's the only way you really come up with American history that's bad, is you say, oh my gosh, I'm ashamed of our country because I took history out of context.
So,
and
yeah,
go ahead.
No,
please.
I was just going to say, I mean, is it black people, Hispanic women? Are they all just voting for the most racist, sexist man of all time? Or are maybe the Democrats and the media lying to you about the facts? I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I don't think millions of Americans, go against their the traditional voting blocks after learning about these two candidates. I think it's that education and that engagement that made people realize that they've been lied to about what the Democrat, and really more about what the Democratic Party is and the lies that they've told and how much they have not helped the Black community, the Hispanic community, how much they have not helped women. They have not. They've set those voting blocks back. They've hurt those communities, and and people are realizing it, and that's what happened.
They're realizing that they've been lied to, and that the fact is violating the 10th commandment or coveting what others have, or the class resentment, economic class resentment, and racism, the idea of that being used to divide us. Hey, listen, I think we all unite behind things that are unjust. And yet what they have pointed out is we're going to use the government to manipulate and divide you with lies, just like the BLM lie, just like so many things we've been told over time, like somehow the rich don't pay their fair share of taxes, and the Trump tax cuts didn't benefit the middle class, when they benefited the middle class numerically, economically, at a greater percentage than any other area of any other economic quintile. Okay. Yeah. So they just lie about things, and then they blame. Now they're going to blame America. I believe they're going to say we're too stupid. We just don't understand it. And that's why we need a better truth detectors out there, their idea of misinformation and disinformation. And that's what they're going to blame. And once again, that is a target on the First Amendment. I see this coming because they have no other excuses.
Mm-hmm. In a few minutes, we're going to get Missouri State Representative Justin Sparks into the conversation, talking to Crane Durham from NothingButTruth.com right now. Crane, will you be able to stick around for a little while and be a part of those conversations as we go through?
I would love to, man.
Oh, well, I would love for you to be a part of them. All right, before we get there, let's have a little fun. Emily, can you turn on the computer over here?
Yes, I can.
So, Crane, have you ever heard me talk about Sky News Australia? Have you heard me talk about Sky News Australia before? I know I've talked about it on Fridays a lot with Gabe and Ken, but I don't know if I've ever discussed it with you. Sky News Australia is awesome. If you want to go somewhere in the world, if you want to look at a news organization in the world that will tell you the truth about Democrats and just unapologetically tell it like it is, you got to go on the other side of the world to get the truth about the Democratic Party and Sky News Australia. So that is so I don't watch a whole lot of network television. I don't watch a whole lot of CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, any of them. Mm-hmm. I get a lot of my my news and information from various places. There's a lot of non-traditional media, podcasts and YouTube and Rumble and places like that. And so Sky News Australia is one of the places that I get a lot of show prep and conversation ideas from. And also Russell Brand. Are you familiar with the comedian Russell Brand? You remember him?
I'm loving that guy. That guy is just someone who continuously shows how he has been transformed by Jesus Christ.
Yes, awesome. Yes. And he, Crane, like us, is not he's not all in on for one person or another person. And he's definitely willing to criticize all parties when criticism is warranted. So that's another thing that I like a lot about Russell Brand. I want to play you a very quick clip from Russell Brand's podcast. I think this was yesterday. This is Russell Brand playing I'm just going to set the tone here because you can't see the clip. So this is a clip. Russell Brand will set it up, and then it's a clip of CNN. It's Jake Tapper on election night asking the guy on CNN that runs the big board, I can't remember who that is, to see. He said, where is Kamala Harris outperforming? What areas in the country, what counties, what states is Kamala Harris outperforming Joe Biden in 2020? And this guy brings up the map, and it's literally blank. There's not a speck. There's not a dot on it. Not a dot on it. It's completely blank, meaning that she didn't outperform Joe Biden in literally any county in the country, which is wild to me. And this is that moment. And this is from the Russell Brand podcast as it happened.
Let's have a look at Jake Tapper realizing that not a single thing was improved by replacing Joe Biden with Kamala Harris.
So you asked, are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming in 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Wait, did we plug the map in? Oh, no.
Jake Tapper, holy smokes. When the map comes up, it's completely blank. And then Russell Brand with the hi, did we plug the map in? What's going on? I mean, that's funny. And it really does it just continues to drive home the point of just how overwhelming and what a horrible, and I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are the worst presidential ticket I have ever seen. This was a terrible, and I think it just shows you the state of the Democratic Party, because I don't know can't really tell you any names of the Democratic Party that would have been any better. I mean, Gavin Newsom is a joke. Pete Buttigieg is a joke. J.B. Pritzker. I mean, who are Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer? Who are the leaders of this party? I mean, there's nobody that's any better. But I mean, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz were awful presidential ticket, and that played a big role in what happened.
That's so true. And I think of Gavin Newsom, who can lie to you straight-faced like a psychopath. Yeah. And why I bring that up is not just a name call. There's more to it. The fact is, they're better communicators. You had Kamala Harris and Humpty Dumpty with Tim Walz, and not able to communicate very well is an understatement.
Yeah.
So when your agenda is a lie, or filled with lies, you better be able to spin it somehow.
Yeah.
They couldn't spin.
They couldn't spin it, and they aren't human. Another thing that Russell Brand always jokes about when it comes to Kamala Harris is that he makes the consistent joke on his podcast about how he loves to watch Kamala Harris do her best impression of a human. Like, she just can't. She can't do it. She cannot. She can't connect. They cannot connect. They don't seem genuine. They don't seem authentic. That's why we had a conversation on the show yesterday about there was a clip that was, I think, going around on MSNBC of a divorced single mother of two who was working two jobs to make ends meet, that was being interviewed by MSNBC. She was a Trump supporter. And when they asked her, why are you supporting Donald Trump? She said, because he's like me. This is a struggling single mother of two who finds more in common and more of a connection with Donald Trump than a billionaire white guy, than Kamala Harris. And I think that says it all. I mean, I really think that shows you everything about how poor of a candidate and a party the Democratic Party has become in 2024.
I think you're right on. And it goes back to the old Bill Clinton 1992 election where he connected with that one voter. And granted, Ross Perot was the reason he won in 92. I know it's history and I can't get away from the 90s. But the fact is, it's all about the connection. Remember? The connection to the candidate. George W. Bush. It's a guy you could have a beer with.
Bush connected with people. Clinton connected with people. Barack Obama connected with people. Believe it or not, Joe Biden connected with people. Joe Biden connected with people earlier in his career, and it held on enough, even when he was losing it, as in 2020. And we got to get to Justin Sparks. We'll probably continue this conversation later, but I've also said this many times this week. I still think Joe Biden would have probably been a better candidate at the end of the day, believe it or not. Just because that's how poor of a candidate I truly believe Kamala Harris was. All right, let's get Justin Sparks on the line with us. Missouri State Representative Justin Sparks is going to join the conversation. Crane Durham from nothingbutTruth.com continues with us here on Colombo and Company.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows. Mike Ferguson in the Morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Colombo and Company, Jones and Arps. Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble. Subscribe and watch News Talk STL.
Plummeting as quickly as the Democrats are the leaves in the trees right now. And if you are having that problem, see what I did there? If you're having that problem at your home, if your gutters are being stuffed full of leaves as they continue to gather everywhere, the Gutter Pros is the team to call. Gutter Pros there for you all year round as your all-in-one gutter service team. Of course, they have gutter repair, new gutter installation, siding repair, new siding installation. They provide all of that for you all year round. But right now, I think the leaf protection is what is so important. And unless you live in a field somewhere, you know, this is something you don't have that leaf protection up there. Your gutters get clogged up unless you're going to go up there every couple weeks and clean it out manually. You know, this is something that could be a very small problem now. But as those gutters are clogged up and overflowing and not working properly, could turn into something much more costly and much more damaging down the road. So don't allow that to happen. If you need that leaf protection, Gutter Pros, the team to call. And of course, like I said, you know, leaf protection is top of mind right now. But anything up there with your gutters or your siding, any issues that you have, the Gutter Pros can help. They also offer free estimates. So, you know, you can get, if you have a problem or a project or something, you can get all the information about how much that's going to cost, your options to move forward, and it costs you nothing. And you're able to make your best decision for your home, for your business, for your budget at that point as well. They're the best. I've had them at our house multiple times and can speak to that from personal experience. So if you do have a gutter issue or you need that leaf protection now, call the Gutter Pros. Call them at 314-656-7195 or just go to gutterpros.com.
The Flower Stop, celebrating 30 years of blooming success in historic Colorville. Owner Christy Stockglasner invites you to their open house, Saturday, November 9th. Enjoy refreshments, raffles, and giveaways while exploring their fresh flowers, plants, and endless home selection. Get ready for the holidays with the Flower Stop's festive decor. Pickup and delivery available. Visit theflowerstop.net or call 636-939-4401. The Flower Stop, locally woman-owned and blooming for 30 years.
Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a two-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
With the average funeral bill over $9,000, are your loved ones prepared? Speak with Benjamin Schaefer at Senior Memorial. Contact Benjamin at memorialplans.com. Memorialplans.com. Senior Memorial, everlasting protection.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
All your hard-earned tax dollars and mine are going to fund illegal aliens who come across the border penniless, jobless, skillless, and they're given a cell phone, an identity, and a cash stipend every month.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
That beats your Social Security income. If you should have the good nature to work your ass off your whole life and retire.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
Brought to you in part by Modern Weapon Systems in Fenton.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.9 News Talk STL. Tony Colombo here in studio with producer Emily. Also on the line with us is Crane Durham from nothingbutTruth.com, and joining us on the line now as well is Missouri State Representative Justin Sparks, who also had a big win on Tuesday night. Congratulations once again, my friend, and thanks for all of your help on Tuesday night with our election coverage, and thanks for being with us again today. How are you?
I'm doing great, Tony. Have you fully recovered from that night?
Well, I'll tell you what, I didn't sleep. I finally went to sleep at about 1:30 this morning. So from I never did make it to sleep on Tuesday night into Wednesday. So yeah, it was a long stretch there, but I'm feeling great at this point. And this is what we do. You know what I mean? Like regardless of outcome, covering the news, we get so caught up in the business and corporate radio and just corporate and just BS in the news and the media, like a presidential election, watching returns come in, watching votes come in. That's what you get into the media for. It's what you get into radio for. And so, I'm not complaining one bit. It was an exciting night. And again, thanks for being a part of it.
It was my pleasure. I really feel like my presence late night, it really put the president over the line. It was in question up until that point, but we came on, it was the vibe, and it pushed the president right over the line. And I'm telling you, I'm super excited to see his transition team. The difference between now and 2016 even is he knows exactly what he wants to do, and he has a team that is laser focused on accomplishing it. I'm really excited.
Yeah, I want to get into a couple of the local issues. We talked a lot about Amendment 3 on election night. We talked a lot about it yesterday as well, but I want to unpack some of the other local amendments and races on Tuesday night. But before we switch off the presidential election, I want to ask both of you this. Crane, I'm going to start with you. As Justin just touched on the transition team, I'm as interested in the transition team and this cabinet. There's already stories out, headlines, rumors out that he'll start making his first cabinet picks in a matter of days. So hopefully not too long of a wait before we start to see what this administration looks like. I think in 2016, one of his biggest weaknesses was building a team because he didn't know what he didn't know, maybe he was just maybe he just made flat bad decisions. But the administration staff was a lot of turnover that first time around. I think it was one of the damaging things to the President Trump's first administration. Hopefully he does a better job this time. What kind of names are you looking for, Crane Durham, in this cabinet?
Well, I must say I would love to see Pompeo back in some capacity. I would love to see Gingrich being tapped once again. I think he's got a lot to give, and I think he's very good at understanding the legislative process, also the deep state as it is. He's gone to war with that. He did it about 30 years ago with the contract with America. So I think that, there are people there that he has talent, and people are desiring to step in and step up. And that's a big deal. I'm not excited about RFK Jr. I'm not a fan.
He's going to be part of it. He's going to be part of it.
He's going to be a part of it.
I think Tulsi Gabbard will too.
Part of this, and as he comes in, I think he's set up for success because, as you both mentioned, he knows what he's stepping into.
Still got Ukraine? Yep, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, finish that thought.
He knows what he's stepping into.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a big part of things. And communication is going to be huge about this. And this is what I think they cleaned up in the campaign. You saw it in the campaign, a much more disciplined campaign. So I'm hoping that's what we'll see when it comes to his picks in cabinet and his communication out of the White House.
Yep. Do we have Justin back on? Okay, perfect. Justin, sorry about the little hiccup there with the phones. The Democrats are still in office, so they're still in control. Your thoughts about the possible Trump team, the cabinet? Are there specific people, specific names that you'd like to see in this administration, or maybe some specific names that you would like to see not, make sure they aren't a part of this administration?
I mean, personally, I think Senator Eric Schmidt would be an awesome attorney general. He's got great experience, and I think he knows exactly what needs to be done. And I love seeing the ICE director. I think he's RFK Jr. is already guns a-blazing, right? Talking about entire departments of the FDA that have to go. Totally agree with that. And the thing that is so encouraging is that everybody is of the same ethos in mind. Everybody understands the FBI has to be cleaned out. The CIA has to be cleaned out. Truth and transparency, guys, is the best disinfectant to the corruption that's deep-seated in our government at the highest levels right now, and that goes for the Secret Service as well, and you are going to see that. What must not happen this time is it would be like you and I going into an office that we had no clue, nor did we anticipate going into, and all of a sudden say, here's this, you have to run it on day one. And, Donald Trump basically started bringing in people that were insiders. These would be your establishment folks, right? They never had his best interest at heart because establishment people never do. They're part of the system and they have their own futures and they're in themselves at their best interest. So this time that's not going to be there. I anticipate a radically new transition.
It's Missouri State Representative Justin Sparks. He's on the line with us. So is Crane Durham from nothingbutTruth.com. And Justin, let's go. Let's switch into some of the local races that we saw. First of all, being a member of the Missouri Republican Party, you have to feel good about the overall results. The statewide races, Governor Kehoe, the treasurer race, the attorney general race, the lieutenant governor race, all of these races overwhelmingly won by the Republicans. Now we knew, there's no surprise that the Republican candidates swept those races, but all of them by comfortable double-digit victories. And we saw that in a lot of state rep and state senator races, including yours. Big night for Missouri Republicans. Your overall thoughts about the local races on Tuesday night?
So I'm really encouraged that there was such an overwhelming turnout. We had been told for so long that this race Republicans were going to lose because abortion was on the ballot. None of that was true. None of it was even close to being accurate. And I'm really encouraged by what has been said repeatedly by Governor-elect Kehoe. He has really struck an awesome tone about the future of the state and the priorities. They are the top Republican priorities that we've been talking about for so long. And I'm really encouraged by that, as well as the statewide elected offices. Now, the people have returned a supermajority of the Senate and the House back, and they are giving us a mandate to do what it is we said we were going to do. And the only thing that really stands in our way now is the Speaker-elect of the House of Representatives. This is John Patterson, and he has to be considered, he would be, in fact, the most liberal speaker that we've had in recent modern times.
Okay, I have to stop you. I have to stop you, because how is that possible? So we just had this happening. We just had this happen last year. We've had this happen in previous years. It was the biggest problem with this last legislative session with Caleb Rowden and Mary Elizabeth Coleman and others, Republican leadership that were not serving the will of the people or the will of their party, the demands of the rest of their party. And, so it was Republican leadership that was the most devastating thing to Missouri Republicans last year. How is it after another, as you mentioned, as you said, mandate by Missouri voters to put Republicans in these seats, wanting that Republican policy to be executed, that we could be having a conversation again about Republicans electing leadership that doesn't reflect Republican beliefs?
That's right. And it's because the system gave us John Patterson by attrition. He basically ascending to the throne. So the floor majority leader to the speaker, from heads of committees. It's because power is for sale in Jefferson City. You can purchase your committee position. You can purchase being the chair of a committee by a certain amount. And there is an actual amount that they will ask for to purchase a position of power. And then money will be funneled to you so that you become the heir apparent. Here's the good news. He isn't the Speaker of the House yet. Each representative has to vote for him in January. And Tony, I'm going to tell you right now, I intend on giving every single representative in the Missouri House an alternative to John Patterson in January.
Well, I can't wait to have that conversation. And I will say this. I don't know as much about Patterson as you do. I will take your word for it on a lot of things, because I find you to be very trustworthy when it comes to these issues. And so I will say that if we elect leadership, if the Republican Party elects leadership in the state of Missouri, like it did last year, and it causes big time issues with issues like IP reform and everything else, and slows down everything to a grinding halt like it did last year, I think many others are not going to just hold those individual leadership people responsible. Everybody who voted for those people to go into leadership, and at some point, it's going to be the Missouri Republican Party as a whole that has to be held accountable if this happens again.
You are exactly right. And when you say things like what I'm saying right now, naming names and saying, hey, listen, the people expect better. We need to hold our leadership accountable. Then things like what happened yesterday happen, and you get an email saying your office is being taken away, because that's what happened. But here's the kicker, guys. My office was the front seat of a police car for 15 years. There's not much you can give me that's worse. And frankly, returning power to the individual representatives and the power to the people, it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's end on let's end this conversation on a couple of high notes here. We did see in the state of Missouri, we've talked about Amendment 3 like crazy. I just said we're going to end on a high note, but I will give you a chance, Justin, to talk about Amendment 3. I just we've been through this so many times, but you haven't had a chance to say your piece. So Amendment 3 did obviously pass. It actually got a lot closer. I don't know if people saw this. It got the check mark and was projected to win pretty, early in the night on Tuesday, relatively early. But as the votes came in, it's only 51.6% of the vote. So it was a very close call in Missouri for Amendment 3 to pass. Obviously, I think the biggest gut punch for Republicans in Missouri was Amendment 3 passing, but a lot of Republicans had to vote for it to pass because there were so many Republicans voting in Missouri. Your thoughts on Amendment 3?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it's sad because of the misinformation, and that's what happens when $23 million flows into the state from out of state and out of country interests. People all over the state were thinking that you could no longer get IVF if Amendment 3 passed. I mean, insane, stupid misinformation, disinformation. This was intentional. We knew it would happen. It's very hard to overcome. But essentially, 3 cities gave us Amendment 3. Overwhelmingly, the state rejected it. But because of the high density population centers, this is what we're faced with. I intend on doing everything I possibly can to take something more reasonable, something much more well-informed back to the voters. And so more to come.
And now we'll end on that high note. And Crane, I want to give you a chance to chime in here. Missouri passes Amendment 7 overwhelmingly. This is the amendment that makes it mandatory to be a United States citizen to vote in a Missouri election. And it also eliminates ranked choice voting. Of all the things that we put in the Missouri Constitution that don't belong there, here's one that absolutely does. And that's got to be heartening to hear. It's nearly 70% of Missourians voted to say, duh, you got to be a United States citizen to vote in an election.
Yeah, I would say that this was important, but let's get it up to 90% next time if there's ever an amendment to add to that.
Yeah, it's a great point.
The idea of citizenship. And regarding the life argument, again, this is something, and thank heavens for Justin Sparks and leaders like Justin, who are going to make the case for life, because the more we make that over time, science is catching up to God. And that's a beautiful thing, because a life is a life is a life. And if we can just make the case, we're going to win this thing, and we're going to save a lot of babies.
Justin, final thoughts on Amendment 7 or anything else that you want to leave the conversation with this week?
No, just very encouraging that we are moving in the right direction. And the state and the country resoundingly reflected that, and I'm grateful for it.
That is Missouri State Representative Justin Sparks and our buddy Crane Durham from nothingbutTruth.com. Guys, thank you both so much for the conversation today, and we will be checking back in with both of you again very, very soon. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Thanks so much.
You too.
Love you too, buddy. All right, we are going to continue the conversation. My friends from the Bluff City Outdoors Show, Mike Marfell and Mark McMurray, are going to be joining us in the 3 o'clock hour, and we are going to talk to our buddy Derek from All Solutions Pest Control. Life goes on outside of news and politics, and right now, as we are transitioning into the winter season, that brings a whole new set of issues when it comes to the pests and the bugs and the critters outside of your home. And that's why it's so important to have a service like All Solutions Pest Control protecting your home this time of year. We're going to talk to Derek from All Solutions Pest Control about that next on Colombo Company.
On the next Larry Connors USA.
The election is over. Trump wins, but now the crying and the whining. Well, that is just starting.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
The Walner Home Selling Team is your team to call right now. If you are looking to sell your home, there is nobody better than the Walners, the Walner Home Selling Team at Berkshire Hathaway. We have used them personally. I have worked with the Walners on our home and trusted the Walners. My wife and I trusted Rodney and Jen, and they absolutely delivered. I would say over-delivered for our family. When we sold our home a couple years ago, and then they found us our new home on the other side of things, just a tremendous experience with the Walners. They're selling 15 times more homes per year than your typical home seller. They have so many qualified buyers right now that they guarantee to get you an offer. They're licensed in both Missouri and Illinois, so they can help you wherever you are in the St. Louis metro area. But aside from all of those facts and those stats, it's the intangibles. It's just the relationship that you have with the Walners when you're working with them. It's their work ethic. It's their experience that sets them apart from the rest. It is still very much a seller's market, so it's a great time to sell your home. If this is something you've been thinking about, don't wait any longer. Call the Walner Home Selling Team now. Call them at 314-810-SOLD, 314-810-SOLD, 314-810-SOLD for the Walner Home Selling Team.
Looking for a top-quality tactical gear and expert advice? Look no further than Discount Tactical, your one-stop shop for all things firearms and self-defense. Located in the heart of Warrenton, we've been serving the community for 3 years with our friendly, professional, and knowledgeable staff. From custom AR builds and silencers to the largest selection of parts, we've got you covered. Self-defense weapons, SBRs, knives, ammo, custom holsters, weapon lights, optics, and body armor. Discount Tactical. Online at discounttacticalarmory.com or stop by today and gear up with confidence.
Hi, Kirk Hilsinger here, and I'm the new chairman of the St. Louis Republican Central Committee. I invite you to our meetings that take place the first Thursday of every month at 3710 Hampton Avenue. You can stay connected with us to learn more about how you can get involved, make your voice heard, and contribute to our shared goals. Together, we can make a difference in the city of St. Louis and the state of Missouri. For more info, visit our new website at stl-gop.com. That's stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
This hour of Colombo and Company brought to you by Gutter Pros. Water goes where we tell it. Call 314-656-7195 or visit them at gutterpros.com.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. As I mentioned in the 3 o'clock hour today, I will be joined by my partners from the Bluff City Outdoors Show. Mark McMurray and Mike Marfell will be here in the 3 o'clock hour. We'll dive back into some of the headlines of the day and election reaction, and also maybe even talk a little bit about the great outdoors when those guys are here in the 3 o'clock hour. So keep it here for that. And as I mentioned right now, joining us on the line is our buddy Derek from All Solutions Pest Control. And Derek, I just mentioned it a moment ago, bugs, pests, the critters running around your house, they don't care how busy the political season is or the how busy the news cycle is. It's getting cold outside, and that means some of those critters are going to want to come inside, and that's a problem if you don't have All Solutions Pest Control at your house.
That's right. They don't care what's going on in the world.
No, they don't.
They keep on going.
Yeah, for sure. So, talk to us about some of those, because we really have since I don't know if the clock change like really drove the point home or if it just suddenly did shift. But I mean, really in the last week or so, it feels like we have really transitioned into like the colder, darker weather patterns and temperatures out there. And obviously that's going to have a big impact on, the changing over from the spring and summer pest issues or concerns that you have to these fall and winter pest concerns. So talk about like what that transition is about and what people should be on the lookout for.
So yeah, just as it gets colder, you have a lot more of the pests trying to get inside. You have more of your mice trying to get inside places where it's warmer and things like that. A lot of things people can do is make sure when the leaves are coming down, you rake up your leaves, things like that. Don't keep all the clutter next to your house. Just less clutter next to your house is fewer places for, mice to make little nests, little bugs to set up their little houses and stuff like that. So keeping it clean around your house just makes it there's less harborage areas for those pests as well.
Yeah. And then what kind of things? So obviously All Solutions, can help somebody if they have mice or if they have a pest problem in their home. But talk about the kinds of things that this time of year that you guys can do to put up that, that shield, that preventative, which is to Christine and I, as you know, Derek, we've talked about this many times. For us, we've had a pest control service, everywhere that we've lived. We found you guys, All Solutions Pest Control, a few years ago when we moved into our new house. All Solutions Pest Control has been the best pest control company that we have ever worked with. And for us, and I think this is what hopefully it's important to many of your customers out there. I don't want to wait until the mice are in the basement. I want that shield up. I want to take as much preventative measures as I can to prevent a pest problem. So what are the things that you guys do at All Solutions that can put up that shield and prevent a pest issue?
So we have some products that we put up around your house, and it has a residual that stays there. So your bugs come in contact with it, or spiders come, get the product on their back and stuff like that. It'll kill the spiders. Sometimes it takes several hours, so the spiders will still be slowly moving around, and then you'll see some dead spiders around, especially once it gets in people's basements. It takes a little bit, and then they'll die off. With mice, we have different mouse bait stations you can put up around people's houses. And the mice can be able to get in and eat that bait and things like that. But if we put several of those stations around the exterior house, it helps it so before they get inside. And then also around the house, you can make sure you don't have big openings. So let's say you have some openings around where your HVAC comes from the house and things like that. Getting those sealed off will help it so the mice don't have easy ways to get in. Because the mice can come through some like the size of a dime.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. That's and small. yeah, and they come in, and there's no such thing as one mouse, right?
Oh yeah, you got one, you usually got more.
Yeah, I did have that problem years and years ago at an old house. We had a drop ceiling in the basement, and it was like, we put some mouse traps up, and we thought, we caught a couple, and we're like, okay, maybe hopefully that's it. And then you quickly realize, oh my God, it's an endless stream. Like if you don't take care of the problem, if you don't seal off, figure out where they're getting in at, seal that off, or, put whatever up, preventative method that you need to put up. Catching a couple of them isn't just going to make the problem go away.
No, that's right. And that's one reason we like to keep the people on their preventative service, especially for your pest control. We keep that barrier up instead of coming from behind. We got that barrier up. So instead of having lots of pests inside, you might just get one or two that occasionally get through, but nothing like it would normally do.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the other things that people can look for? Like, you mentioned, I think, such a good advice about the leaves, not allowing leaves to clutter up or pile up and give a sort of a natural nest for bugs or for mice. I would imagine like things like, obviously, if you have if there's a home like, next door to you or adjacent to your property that is vacant at the time, that can be a big, that could be, something that is a problem that you want to, might want to also keep an eye on. Or what are some of those other things that, that people can be on the lookout for? Maybe just the way that the setup of a house is. Like if you have a lot of trees, you need to be careful of this. Or if you have a lot of, open space.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Keeping the trees a little farther from the house. But a really popular one is having like wood piles. A lot of people keep wood piles really close to their house because they don't want to walk far to get them. But if you have a wood pile right next to your house, it's a great place for harborage, all that kind of stuff. But also, especially as it warms up, you get more issues with termites. So year round, it's a good idea to not keep wood right next to your house. Or if you do have it close to your house, just make sure you have it raised up around 6 inches off the ground. And that way there's not as much harborage because it's not creating those little divots and things like that where the insects and bugs can hide.
Yeah. Well, that is such great advice. And take that advice, and then my advice is to also use the great service at All Solutions Pest Control to put that shield up to give you the best preventative chance to keep those bugs out of your home. And right now we have the introductory special still happening, right, Derek? And the best place to find and learn more about everything All Solutions Pest Control, is it a website, social media? What's the best place to go?
Yeah, go to allsolutionspestcontrol.com. Again, that's allsolutionspestcontrol.com. And you can message us on there, or you can give us a call, 636-486-7888. And we'd love to help anyone out that's having any issues.
Absolutely. Make sure you ask them about the $67 introductory special right now. Take advantage of that while you can, and check out everything that All Solutions Pest Control can do for you. I tell you what, we sleep better at night, every night at our home, knowing that we have All Solutions protecting our house. Derek, thanks so much for your time today. Thanks for everything you do for us at our home, and thanks for supporting the show as always. And we'll talk to you soon, my friend. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thanks.
Yeah, that is Derek from All Solutions Pest Control. Check them out at allsolutionspestcontrol.com. All right, as I mentioned, we are going to dive back into some of the news of the day. Election fallout continues. We're going to be joined in the 3:00 hour by my partners from the Bluff City Outdoors Show, which you can hear every Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sundays at noon here on News Talk STL. Mark McMurray from Bluff City Outdoors and professional fisherman Mike Marfell going to join me in the 3:00 hour. And also, don't forget that if you want to make sure you never miss anything that happens here on this show, or for that matter, on the Bluff City Outdoors Show or any other show here on News Talk STL, make sure you are subscribed to our podcast. We put the show out as a podcast right after we get off the air every day. We put it on basically every podcast platform. So no matter where you get your podcasts, you can get Colombo and Company and the Bluff City Outdoors Show. Just subscribe to those shows and all the shows here at News Talk STL on your favorite podcast platform. It's the best way to make sure that you never miss anything, all the great conversations that we have here on the show each and every day. All right, we will be back with Mark McMurray and Mike Marfell next on Colombo and Company.
Just like yesterday.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
Hey, it's Vic. Are you worried about rising taxes? Well, you're not alone. With government spending outpacing revenue, many Americans fear a tax hike is on the horizon. But here's the good news. You have options. Chris Cooper of Serenity Wealth Management specializes in tax-efficient strategies for income planning, legacy, and growth. Chris knows your money will go to one of three places: the government, healthcare, or your family and charities. Shouldn't your loved ones come first? Don't let Uncle Sam be your biggest beneficiary. Take control of your financial future today. Visit SerenityNowTax.com for your free copy of Chris's book, The New Holistic Retirement. Serenity Wealth Management, because you deserve peace of mind in retirement. Request your free book today at SerenityNowTax.com. That's SerenityNowTax.com to get your free copy of The New Holistic Retirement. That's SerenityNowTax.com. Serenity Now! With Chris Cooper.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.
Attention St. Charles, Looking for a local spot that satisfies all your cravings? Mario's Donut Restaurant is your place to go for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From mouth-watering sandwiches and omelets to delicious gyros, Mexican dishes, salads, and wraps, we've got it all. And don't forget our famous donuts. They're so good, they'll make your eyes glaze over. Dine in or carry out. Our friendly staff is ready to serve you with love and care. Mention News Talk STL when you visit. Call 636-447-4515 or visit mariosdonutrestaurant.com.
For over half a century, Joe Bacardi's has been serving up a little taste of Italy right here in St. Louis. Family owned since 1971, we're more than just a restaurant. We're a local landmark. With 4 convenient locations, we offer something for everyone, from our famous pizzas to mouth-watering entrees and delicious salads. Dine in with a glass of wine or grab a quick carryout. Whether it's dinner for 2 or catering for a crowd, Joe Bacardi's has you covered. Visit joebacardi's.com and join our loyalty program. Joe Bacardi's, where every meal ends with buon appetito.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The Federal Reserve cut its key interest rate by a quarter point in response to the steady decline in once high inflation. That rate cut follows a larger half-point reduction in September. The move reduces the Fed's benchmark rate to about 4.6%, down from a 4-decade high of 5.3% before September's meeting. Former U.S. Senator Jim Talent of Missouri says the Democrats can blame their election loss this week on the contempt with which they view conservatives and Donald Trump.
I mean, he has enormous strengths as a candidate and a leader. He also has weaknesses, as we all do, but he has enormous strengths. And his opponents have consistently underestimated him because they believe their own propaganda about him. And that's always a mistake in politics, in war, or in life.
Former Senator Talent interviewed on the Salem Radio Network. Also at townhall.com, an out-of-control wildfire fueled by heavy winds tearing through a community northwest of Los Angeles for a second day. After destroying dozens of homes and forcing thousands of residents to flee, the mountain fire has prompted evacuation orders around Camarillo and Ventura County. That fire is 0% contained. There was an uptick in unemployment applications last week.
The Labor Department reported that jobless claim applications rose by 3,000 this week. That's fewer than analysts had forecast. Weekly applications for jobless benefits are considered representative of U.S. layoffs in a given week. Last month, the U.S. economy produced fewer jobs, but economists pointed to recent strikes and hurricanes that left many workers temporarily off payrolls. Hi up in Juani, Washington.
And on Wall Street, the Dow dropping 1 point today. The NASDAQ was up over 200. More at townhall.com.
With Progressive, you get more than savings. You get access to us through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
Oh, I see what you're doing here, Jamie. Giving me all these ways to stay in touch so I have no excuse not to. Well, you're in luck, because this guy's in the market for a new BFF.
Actually, all our customers can contact us this way.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just kidding.
But I am always up for Taco Pizza! Jigsaw!
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
For anyone with everyday aches and pains, I've got a question. What are you missing out on? Probably a lot. So let me tell you about Relief Factor. Relief Factor is a drug-free daily supplement that helps your body fight pain naturally. It doesn't just mask pain, it helps reduce or even eliminate it. In about 3 weeks, you'll discover what it's like to feel better. Go to relieffactor.com or call 1-800-4RELIEF and save on your first order. That's 1-800 the number 4.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
First alert for Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. Chilly and dry tonight. Low down to 43 degrees. A high of 63. Partly cloudy skies. Staying dry for our Friday. Saturday, we get back into a rain chance. 61 for the high, turning cloudy, and a chance of rain in the late morning through the afternoon. A few lingering showers into the evening as well. I think the bulk of the rain is the afternoon, but you may see it start by the late morning. And again, a few lingering showers in the evening. Sunday, a spot shower early in the morning. Otherwise, it'll dry out, warm up with some sunshine and a high of 67. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Jewels on Hampton, paying some of the highest prices for your gold, silver, diamonds, and more. Call 314-752-5000 or visit julesonhampton.com.
Fox News commentary.
He did it. We did it. Now we take America back, and it's going to be better than ever. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Trump is our president-elect. Kamala is fired. Soak it up, soak it in. This belongs to every single one of us who have endured the last 4 years of watching our country decline. Here's the simple story of November 5th through 6th for you. The American people are not dumb. We can't afford groceries. We're sick of watching illegals suck off the system that we fund. We are sick of being told kids can pick from 200 genders. We are sick of being talked down to. We are sick of the woke crap. And the left's calculation of how many men and women would vote solely on the unfettered ability to kill a fetus, well, that was a little off. And best of all, consider the legal immigrant invasion operation over. We're taking back America. But let not your heart be troubled, my liberal friends. Donald J. Trump is going to make this country great again for you, too. You'll never admit it, but you'll secretly love it. We've got a lot of work to do, but the work starts now. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Mike Ferguson in the morning. We keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion.
St. Louis is #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Well, I tried to make it Sunday, but I got so damn depressed.
Welcome back to Colombo Company on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL. Got a lot of company over at the house now. Tony Colombo here in studio with producer Emily and my partners from the Bluff City Outdoors Show, which you can hear every Saturday at 11 a.m. and Sundays at noon here on News Talk STL. Professional fisherman Mike Marfell back in studio with us. And from Bluff City Outdoors, Mark McMurray is here.
Hey, it's great to be here.
Yeah, great to have both of you
About
here.
to solve the world's problems.
Right. I'm just going to ask you both the same question to start things off. Mark, you first. Your reaction, your feelings about the election.
Well, it pretty much went like I thought it was going to go. I mean, that's kind of like I was telling you a little bit ago. I also thought he would win New Hampshire, but I did.
So this is pretty interesting because as optimistic, I mean, all the signs were pointing to Trump having tremendous momentum going into election night. Still, like a lot of people being very cautious about that. And I think that what surprised most people was not that he won, but how overwhelmingly he won. But you said that from talking to your customers at the shop and other places, I mean, you had a feeling that it could be.
Yeah, that he'd made inroads into the black community. Mm-hmm. I just hearing that from my black customers.
Yeah.
Got a lot of Hispanic customers, and they're all hard working, a lot of roofers and things. And
yeah,
they're all coming in with their Trump gear. And I'm thinking,
wow,
he's made the inroads. I think it's going to stick. And then I always, like I said, being a kind of a number geeky guy, I was looking at a lot of the polls, and I'd always try to dig down in there and see what their sample set was, see if they were following what Gallup was telling us, that the electorate had moved to be, for the first time ever, was actually more Republican than Democrat.
Yeah.
And most of those polls weren't picking that up. They weren't modeling it that way. So I was just looking at them and saying, I think they're going to be 2 or 3 points off.
Can we ever trust polls again in this country?
I don't think so, unless they properly. Now, Atlas Intel seemed to have it figured out. They were almost on the money on all those statewide polls. I mean, betting
line was pretty close too.
Yeah. I mean, Atlas Intel, they said, hey, Trump's up by 2 and he won by 2.3, I think, in Georgia. I mean, they hit it. If you look at their last battleground polls, they hit it. So,
yeah.
Well, I'm a numbers guy too, but I'm also a hillbilly. So it's just when the mainstream media is telling me it's going to be close.
Yeah.
With all the lies we've heard over the last 8 years, 10, 12 years, I was like, it's not going to be close.
Well, and Mike, you just made a great point. And on election night, we were here all night, and Vic Porcelli was with me right where Mark is right now, and right where you're at right now was where Larry Connors was all night. And Vic was checking on the betting lines all night as well, saying, you know what, you can throw the pollsters out. The
Vegas knows what's up.
Vegas knows what's up.
They keep the lights on there.
That's such a great point. What are your thoughts overall? Your reaction to the election, Mike?
I like I said, I was much like Mark. I thought that's what it was going to be, but I don't underestimate pipes breaking in the middle of the night, votes coming in the middle of the night. Last time around, I fell asleep watching the election, drinking bourbon, celebrating, woke up, and somehow he had lost. I was like, what in the world?
Somehow is exactly right.
So I was a little reluctant, but it's just, man, how could you not? And I think Megyn Kelly, Joe Rogan, Dana White, Theo Vaughn, that kind of stuff. There was an ad that they ran that had all those people in it at the end. Didn't run it here in Missouri because they didn't need to.
Right.
But I seen it posted, and I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna.
Yeah.
I mean, a president willing to sit down with Joe Rogan for 3 hours is wild.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think so important. So two things there you just touched on, Mark, that I think was so important. First, the fact that we got the answer on Tuesday night.
Yeah, that
was so important.
I was worried that if we didn't, things would get crazy.
If they turn the lights out and they go home and we'll start counting again in the morning, that's when the trucks all of a sudden start pulling up in the alleys, and that's when the cardboard goes up in the window. And
I think that was being monitored, much more. I mean, you had 4 years to get ready for that.
God bless Charlie Kirk.
And you, so I don't think that some of the things that happened were going to be able to happen again. So.
Yeah.
Another thing, Tony, I have a 15-year-old daughter, and they had the mock election at high school like they do. And she was having a FaceTime with a bunch of her friends. And my daughter's a cheerleader, but she's also a tough chick because she used to wrestle, right?
Yeah.
I heard her go, bro, it's not a federal issue that's kicked back to the states where it's supposed to be. She can't do anything for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, 15-year-old girls are getting it more than the mainstream media.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, it's not that they don't get it.
She's the next Emily, by the way.
100%
You need to meet
agree.
my daughter.
Because I remember before Roe v. Wade was overturned, and that was not a thing that they were talking about doing. I mean, maybe they were. I don't know. Wasn't aware. I was in my government class in high school, and I remember them explaining to us the case of Roe v. Wade and like what it is, and the deciding things and all that. And I was like, why was this decided? Because I thought that was supposed to be a state's issue because it's not listed as the issue that the federal level can run. I remember asking that, and teacher didn't give me like anything. And I'm like, well, it's just it's a case that was decided. So I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. It should be a states' rights issue. Then literally that year, that was when that draft was leaked, and I was like, no way.
Yeah.
And I printed out the entire draft and I annotated it, and I listened to Ben Shapiro break it down for me. I sat there writing it out so that anybody who said anything, I'd be like, well, actually, and like open it up. I was that kid. Like,
yeah, you gotta meet my daughter.
Year. Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, but Mark, we were talking about this at the break a little bit about not only did the elite establishment on the left, the politicians and the media, they don't get it. They don't understand. They just don't understand people. They don't. They
live in a bubble.
They live in their own privileged world that they wake up their own rules, and they just don't get it.
And bad policy doesn't impact them.
Right.
You know, I mean,
that's right.
Exactly.
That's the biggest, probably the biggest thing. I mean, I'm going to just, so they've embraced the transgender issue so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 80% of the people just don't agree with, or 90%.
I was going to say it's higher than 80.
Don't think guys should be playing
girls sports.
In girls sports. It's just that simple.
Yeah. It like
peeing on Title IX is disgusting.
That's what they did. Yeah.
The most basic, obvious, common sense points, like you should be a citizen of the United States to vote in elections.
Yeah.
You should be a girl if you're going to play
in
girls sports.
Yeah.
But the left has gone so far that somehow those things are being discussed. Like it's not like it's only in the made up world of the media and the elite left, the elite progressive left, where those things are even a question for people. When you talk to real Americans, even liberals, by and large,
Do you think they believe it, or is it more
that stuff.
nefarious than that? You think it's more nefarious than they actually?
I think there's a lot
because
of
I can't wrap my
nefariousness.
head around actually believing that.
I don't know. I just think that they really set themselves. You know what they are?
They don't like to admit they're wrong. That's for dang
You know
sure.
when you see like runway models wearing, ridiculous
That would
things
never be worn.
that would never be worn in real life. That's
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, that's the world that the world that the political elite class live in.
None of them have faith in the Constitution.
They just live in a different world where like, oh, that looks great. I would love to have that helicopter on top of my head walking down the street. Like they just live. So I don't know. I do think that there's a lot of bad stuff going on, a lot of nefariousness going on. But I also think that they do believe it in many cases.
I hope identity politics died the other night because
I hope so too.
Took a big.
They're trying to break everything down into it's
People are
white
sick of
women's fault that Kamala didn't win, or
it's
Hispanic. We're all Americans, dude.
Yeah, and it was black people, Hispanics, and women that allowed this blowout to happen.
Yeah.
There's not enough white guys to have an overwhelming victory.
And why can't Hispanic women and white dudes think the same?
Right.
We can still have the same opinions.
Exactly.
Some of us don't, but we don't have to. Emily is a young female, and me and her agree on a lot, and I'm just an old hillbilly.
Right.
I think it's more, there's a lot of, if you kind of look at it, there's a lot of mental things going on. They embrace a lot of basically insane policy.
Yeah.
And if you kind of look at percentages, do the little numbers here, about 20% of Americans identify as, kind of progressive. According to the AMA, also 20% of Americans suffer from mental disease. It's really just do the math there.
Back to numbers again, nerding out on us, Mark.
Yeah. A minute ago, Mike, you said that that a 15-year-old girl understands the issue more than the mainstream media does. The only pushback I would give is that the mainstream media does understand. They're just lying to you.
Yeah. Yes. That's what I'm saying. That's the nefarious part.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, for sure.
Sonny Hostin said her daughter just woke up with less rights than she had the day before.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And Mark, it's been, you see this, and you both live in Illinois, so you guys see
No,
this.
I don't anymore.
Oh, you're from Illinois, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I fled the People's Republic.
Yeah. Right. So,
Public with a K.
So
Yeah, exactly.
But Mark, so you see this all the time, just the lies coming from statewide government and this federal government and this media. This idea, they're sticking with it, even in defeat. She's up there. Kamala Harris is giving her concession speech, talking about how Donald Trump is taking away reproductive rights from women. He's been clear since Roe v. Wade was overturned while he was president last time that he wants nothing to do
That's the nefarious
on a
part.
federal level with the
states.
abortion issue. It's a states' rights issue. Donald Trump's the one that made sure to make it a states' rights issue. That's why in Missouri we were voting on Amendment 3 on Tuesday night, because Donald Trump made it, kicked everything back to the states where it belongs. But they will still look you in the eyes, straight faced, and just bold faced lie to you and say, "Oh, Donald Trump wants to put a abortion ban in at the federal level," when he's never said anything of the sort.
Yeah, and it is, and and then you hear a lot, Trump's a racist. If somebody tells you that and you ask them, well, what's he done that's racist? And it's crickets.
Yeah.
Well, people say, well, no, what's he done? What's his policies?
What's he done?
If he's a racist, he's the world's worst. Racist.
Yes, he is. He's worse.
Yeah.
And the most popular, because he set his own record 3 times in a row now. The final numbers aren't in, I guess, officially yet, but as we know, he set the Republican presidential record for most black votes in 2016, and then he broke his own record in 2020. It looks like he did at least that well, if not even better.
It looks like he
again.
improved on it.
Yeah, broke his own.
Is
record
Arizona
again.
and Nevada come in yet?
And some
on Real Clear Politics,
some people have called
given them to Trump.
Yeah.
Tony said
But don't they have to do something about that? You can't be that far behind every time.
No. Well, look, Florida proved it on Tuesday that you can be a huge state, very big.
It's got more
complicated
population
state.
than both of those, right? Am I correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
combined,
third. I think
yeah.
it's third.
Yes,
third
third biggest.
Most populous state. They were one of the first ones with the votes counted and distributed. So
coming from the hanging Chad state, that's impressive.
Yeah, exactly. No, and also the AP and Google haven't called it yet either. So I was just checking Real Clear Politics has called Nevada and Arizona, but most other networks have not yet. But I don't know what they're waiting for. I don't know what they were waiting for in Alaska for so long. They
might be drinking
up by 16 points, with most of the vote counted, and they were still not calling Alaska forever.
How about the Puerto Rican governor going Republican after they were making a big stink with Tony Hinchcliffe?
The joke. Yeah.
I like how they said a speaker at the Trump rally, not mentioning that he's an insult comic.
That he's a roast comedian.
Yeah.
Who roasted multiple demographics, and that if you watch the whole bit,
yes.
Now you can like it or not like it.
Right.
And I get it if that's not your cup of tea as far as comedy's concerned. But it wasn't like he just told one weird, out of the blue, out of context Puerto Rican.
Right.
He had been picking on multiple different.
And they do have a trash problem in Puerto Rico. People overlook that too.
So yeah, and he has a home there.
Yes.
A vacation property in Puerto Rico. Tony Hinchcliffe does.
Yes.
so he's a big fan of the island. When Nevada and Arizona finally do get called for Donald Trump, he will end up with 312 electoral votes. I mean, an absolute
drumming.
It's solid.
Yeah, it's a big victory. And then the fact that he won the
man, they're going to double down on the entire country's racist and misogynistic.
You can't do it. You can't do it when you have a person who made such inroads.
Oh, they'll do it. The mainstream
with the
media will
Hispanic
do
vote,
it.
So
with the black vote.
What I think's beautiful. I mean, this is they're going to keep it up,
Mm-hmm.
and then
get
his
worse.
policy. Yes, but his policies are going to show the voters that that's not the case, and I think he'll even grow the Republican Party more in 4 years.
Yeah, because it will alienate people more. It will make people
yes, because it's
they'll
going to
see
go
with their own eyes like they already have.
Right. And
that
the
they're
young
being lied to.
generation, like my daughter and my son, my 18 and 50, they're right of Attila the Hun, for Christ's sake. I mean, seriously.
I just think he's got a golden opportunity to even further grow the party
and
just show them that all you've been doing is lying for all these years. Just show it. The media said, he goes, I told you they were fake. My policies, I've shown you. I wasn't that way. They keep saying it. Stop believing them.
Yep.
I felt like we got more punk rock because people finally woke up.
Yeah.
Like this is, Trump is hated by both establishments on both sides. So he's my guy.
Yeah. Who knew that?
That's, I mean, I'm not saying I'm a huge fan. There's many other people I'd rather
the
see.
kids of the 90s that were like Rage Against the Machine kids?
Yeah.
Who would have
What
ever
in the
guessed
world?
that it would be the Republican Party that would represent that attitude and that idea more?
I played in punk rock bands with some guys that are so far left now.
It's
It
the
is
Democrats
mind-boggling.
now. It's the Democrats that are the ones that are establishment and want
big time
federal overreach, and they want the man.
They'll tell you what to do.
Yeah, they'll want to control your life and tell you what to
They
do.
might even want to make you take a vaccine.
Yeah, they might even want to do that. That is for sure. We've got Mike Marfell and Mark McMurray from the Bluff City Outdoor
Dream
Show in studio with us. We're going to continue the conversation. I'm going to play a piece of sound for you when we get back that I think absolutely is the best 60 seconds of an explanation of why and what happened on election night. And this happened on CNN of all places.
Oh, I know this clip you're talking about.
And it is
the
awesome.
token Republican
So,
they have on there. He hit him good.
Scott Jenkins.
He got dead quiet, didn't it?
Yeah, we will. We're going to play that. We'll play that clip. We'll react to that, and we'll continue the conversation here next on Colombo and Company.
But I do agree there's times when a woman...
St. Louis's place to talk.
Freedom of speech is one of the anchors of our society.
News Talk STL.
Zero Res is the team to call if you have any issues in your home. If you need your carpets cleaned, if you need tile, any surface in your home that needs to be cleaned, the cleaning pros at Zero Res have you covered. We have had Zero Res at our home many times over the years. We've had them clean the furniture as many times as we've had them work on the carpets because they really are the best. They also do the air duct cleaning. And right now, Zero Res understands how important it is for you to have a clean, healthy home for your friends and family during the holiday season. So they have a great offer for you for the month of November. If you book a cleaning with Zero Res in November and just mention the Colombo special, when you do that, you will get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you could take $75 off an air duct cleaning. Again, all you have to do is mention the Colombo special when you book your cleaning in November, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129 plus $75 off an air duct cleaning if you'd like that service as well. They are the best. We've had them in our home many times, and trust Zero Res with the health and cleanliness of our home, and I think that you can do the same. Take advantage of this great special now. Again, just mention the Colombo special when you call 314-474-2020, or when you book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Spell it forwards or backwards. It spells the same, Zero Res.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
In the election, Harris was counting on abortion being a big issue to help her win the campaign. But a CNN national exit poll found only 14% of voters considered abortion an election issue. 34% of those surveyed rated democracy as a bigger issue, followed by the economy. In the election, 3 states voted to keep bans against abortion: Florida, Nebraska, South Dakota. 7 states voted to restore abortions, and that was true in Missouri. Amendment 3 passing, an amendment bought and paid for by outside groups willing to sell a lie to kill babies. You know, ancient history is filled with human sacrifices. Children would be selected, maybe even given extra food and privileges for a year, and then thrown into a volcano. The sacrifice was to appease their gods. You think it made the parents of the children joyful? Again, looking back on that, we call that practice barbaric. Yet, how different is that from abortion?
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Question: do you know what vermiculite is? It is an insulation in the attics of hundreds of thousands of homes and public buildings. Looks like kitty litter, but often contains asbestos. Wellington Environmental is the largest company in the Midwest that can remove that hazard for you. Wellington has what is called the General, a powerful industrial vacuum that can suck vermiculite out of the attic. Hang on, there's something else you should know. Many of you might qualify for up to a $4,000 rebate. You should at least contact Wellington to see if you qualify. And here's something else. Wellington arrives at the time they give you, not sometime within 4 hours. 314-644-4930. 644-4930. WellingtonSTL.com. WellingtonSTL.com. Wellington Environmental. Your world cleaner, better, safer. Be well with Wellington.
Southern Armory, your hometown gun store. Come and be more than just a customer. Southern Armory, we carry the best guns, holsters, knives, magazines, ammunition, and even food storage. Special orders are welcome. Southern Armory, 1 mile east of 270 and 44, 9901 Watson Road, and SouthernArmory.com. That's SouthernArmory.com.
Whether you're purchasing your first firearm or adding to your collection at Southern Armory, you're more than a customer, you're part of the family. Follow Southern Armory on Facebook or at SouthernArmory.com.
Ready to explore the underwater world? Great American Divers, your veteran-owned local scuba center, is making waves with incredible offers. Get $50 off any new open water course when you mention News Talk STL. And mark your calendars. November 8th and 9th is our massive fall sale. Everything in store on sale, plus our huge swap and sale event for quality used gear. Daddy certification, equipment repairs, we got it all. Our experienced staff is passionate about teaching, and we're the only center in the area with our own indoor heated pool. Visit GreatAmericanDivers.com today. Great American Divers, where adventure runs deep.
Danny Define here, host of the all-new show, The Next Gen, with me, Danny Define. We're going to cover all the hard-hitting topics on this show, national headlines and things happening right here in St. Louis.
Next Gen with Danny Define, Sunday nights at 8.
Right here on News Talk STL.
She keeps a Moet Chandon in a pretty cabinet. Breakfast she says, just like Marie Antoinette, building a remedy for Khrushchev and Kennedy.
Welcome back to Colombo Company on 101.994.1 News Talk STL. Tony Colombo here in studio with producer Emily and the guys from the Bluff City Outdoors Show. Fisherman Mike Marfell is here, and Mark McMurray from Bluff City Outdoors is here as well. Mentioned earlier that, you can, of course, listen to the Bluff City Outdoors Show every Saturday morning.
Which you should.
At 11 a.m. and Sundays at noon. Absolutely. Here on News Talk STL. But you can also visit Bluff City Outdoors in Alton, about a mile east of Fast Eddie's. They're on Broadway. Open 7 days a week.
Yep. 7
almost
days a week.
almost no matter what. 3 days a year.
3 days a year that we close. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's.
There you go.
And half the time I'm end up being down there New Year's afternoon.
There you go. There you go. Bluff City Outdoors has all of your fishing needs covered, your bow hunting needs covered, trapping needs. Just a great place to go. If you're going to be out in the great outdoors, Bluff City Outdoors can help you get prepared for that. Also, you can shoot every day in the state-of-the-art archery range, open 7 days a week for you to shoot in out there at Bluff City Outdoors. So go and check it out, and make sure you're listening every weekend to the Bluff City Outdoors Show. All right. I played a clip earlier from Russell Brand's podcast, and I'm going to play you another one here. This actually is a piece of sound from CNN. This is Scott Jennings, who, Mike, you mentioned a minute ago as we were setting this up, one of the token Republicans. He was a part of the George W. Bush administration. He was a special assistant.
CNN's punching bag, essentially.
He was sitting a foot and a half away from Van Jones on election night.
Yep.
And he delivered this little monologue.
Axelrod was on that panel too.
Yep, that I'm about to play for you. Anderson Cooper.
Yep.
And I mean, this was
shut up.
This is I think maybe the best, most succinct explanation of why Donald Trump had such a overwhelming victory in this presidential election. And just as importantly, just as much as it was about Donald Trump and his policies and his connection with the American voter, the rejection of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and the Democratic Party that has put this country on such a destructive, divisive path. This is Scott Jennings on election night on CNN trying to explain to the Democrats why this.
I was asking Mark if he's heard this.
Why this? Have you heard
there's the camo hat comment. Really, I thought was
this. Yeah, this is good. This is Scott Jennings on CNN on election night.
Scott Jennings had to say about everything.
This is a mandate. He's won the national popular vote for the first time for a Republican for the first time since 2004. This is a big deal. This isn't backing into the office. This is a mandate to do what you said you were going to do. Get the economy working again for regular working class Americans, fix immigration, try to get crime under control, try to reduce the chaos in the world. This is a mandate from the American people to do that. I think I'm interpreting the results tonight as the revenge of just the regular old working class American, the anonymous American who has been crushed, insulted, condescended to. They're not garbage. They're not Nazis. They're just regular people who get up and go to work every day and are trying to make a better life for their kids. And they feel like they have been told to just shut up when they have complained about the things that are hurting them in their own lives. I also feel like this election, as we sit here and pour over this tonight, is something of an indictment of the political information complex. I mean, we've been sitting around here for the last couple of weeks, and the story that was portrayed was not true. I mean, we were told Puerto Rico was going to change the election. Liz Cheney, Nikki Haley voters, women lying to their husbands. Before that, it was Tim Walz and the camo hats. Night after night after night, we were told all these things and gimmicks were going to somehow push Harris over the line. And we were just ignoring the fundamentals. Inflation, people feeling like that they were barely able to tread water at best. That was the fundamentals of the election. And so I think that both parties should always look at the results of an election and figure out what went right and what went wrong. But I think for all of us who cover elections, and talk about elections and do this on a day-to-day basis, we have to figure out how to understand, talk to, and listen to the half of the country that rose up tonight and said, we've had enough.
How about that, Mark?
That pretty much sums it up.
I mean, is that that was on CNN?
Yes.
You don't expect to hear that on CNN. I mean, it's the one Republican sitting there, but
yeah, but
pretty awesome.
I mean, he needed to deliver that message to that panel,
and he was. And when he said the part about this is calling out the, however he said it, the information institution,
something like that.
He was directly talking
political
to
media
his
complex,
own network.
Yes.
About the lies of the polls. I talked about this on I was on with Mike Ferguson on yesterday morning at 5:30. I'd left here at 3 a.m. and I was on with him on 5:30. And after I left, after we wrapped up our coverage, and then for the next couple hours as I went home and I tried to go to bed and couldn't go to bed and I mostly watched CNN and MSNBC because I wanted to see the reaction that was happening. And they were still on television talking to America, which, by the way, they hadn't called the election either.
Right.
They were still acting like Kamala Harris was in the race all into Wednesday morning. And they had people coming out saying, like, we had very reliable polls that showed that there was going to be a 35-point gender gap. And that didn't happen tonight. Like, it goes back to what we said at the very beginning of at 3 o'clock when we started this conversation, Mark. They just don't get it. They can't get it.
They're victims of their own propaganda.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean,
yeah.
They are. I mean, like I was saying earlier, I mean, but the beauty of it is they're going to keep spewing this stuff, and Trump's going to get on track, and he's going to do the things he said he's going to do. There's no doubt in my mind, because he knows all the mistakes that he made the first time.
Yeah.
About how to, he's going to clear house.
Yeah.
Put in his people, get on it, and get these things done.
Yeah.
So in 4 years, all these people that are going to go back to the CNN viewer and they're going, I still get a vote.
Yeah.
You know what?
Right.
He didn't throw all the black
We're
people
doing
in
this
prisons.
again. Yeah.
And they're going to go,
I still have rights.
I still have rights. Maybe they were lying
Maybe more
to me.
rights.
Yes. Maybe that media was lying to me all that time.
I think that realization has been made already by many people, and it's just getting started.
Yes, you're getting the next. It's just going to be a snowball going down a hill. Yep.
I
firmly believe that.
I take offense as a kid that was nicknamed the Camo Kid when I moved from a small town to Alton. Didn't know you weren't supposed to wear your hunting camo after you hunted in the morning to school. So I take offense to the Tim Walls wearing the camo hat.
Yeah, Tim Walls wearing
that stood out to me. And if you haven't seen that, people go out and find the clip. It's everywhere. Watch the body languages on the other people at that panel. They know they're wrong.
From the sound that I just played.
Yeah.
Van Jones is smiling, and not in like a condescending,
to keep from crying, I think.
Yeah, he's smiling because Van Jones is such an interesting character because he spoke at the RNC.
He worked for Trump. Yeah.
And he is such a crazy liberal, like all the way crazy liberal. But deep down inside, Van Jones knows what's right and what's wrong.
He's saying what he's saying for a paycheck.
I think he was sitting there. The way I interpret him, sitting there looking at what Scott Jennings, what we just played, he was internally nodding his head like,
yep, you go. Yep.
This is it. Yeah, you go. Because I mean, Mark, you heard it. The line about the ignored majority, the ignored Americans who have been insulted, his words, insulted, condescended to. They're not garbage. They're not Nazis. They're just normal, hardworking American people, and they've had enough of the lies.
They're tired of being lied to.
And they're tired of being lied to. They're tired of being insulted. They're tired of being told that they're hateful. They're tired of being told that they're wrong. They're tired of being told that it's supposed to be, who to hate, and the division
whose
that they've
fault
tried
it is.
to be sown. Yeah. And I think that more than anything was what drove the results that we've seen.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I see it as a great awakening of people.
I mean,
they're starting to see straight and clear again, and hopefully that will continue. And
I think there's a percentage of people on the progressive side. It's right in the name, progressive. They keep pushing forward. I don't think they'll ever get it.
No, that's that 20% that's got mental illness.
Yeah. Thank you. Perfect.
But so I just
or is paid to be that way, which I think a lot of those
Right.
people are. You can't believe what Rachel Maddow believes. There's no way. I don't understand.
If you're crazy, you can.
No,
just to look at
good point.
to look at it from two angles that are very relevant to local voters. The state of Missouri. We just talked to Justin Sparks, Missouri State Representative Justin Sparks. Republicans dominated and continue and have been dominating Missouri politics, supermajority. However, Republican leadership has betrayed Republicans and Republican voters in the state of Missouri, and Missourians are going to have to draw a line. I don't think that the Republican Party can continue to allow that to happen without doing serious damage themselves going forward. Take that exact scenario and go to the national stage with it. There's no sign. I thought maybe this would be the wake-up call, like the wake-up call that Missouri Republicans are going through right now with Amendment 3 passing. And here we go again. Maybe IP reformers are going to get done. This is a wake-up call for Missouri Republicans, I think. I thought this was going to be a wake-up call for national Democrats, but they seem to be, Mark, digging in even deeper. They still think the solution is identity politics.
They still believe they're right.
Division and hate. Yeah. And to your point, if they stick to those, if they double down, triple down on that, I think that they are going. I think the Republican Party is going to grow.
Yeah, the tent's going to get bigger
exponentially over the next 4 years.
They're imploding.
Yeah,
on themselves,
and they don't see it. They don't. They're not getting that wake up call. You'd think that they go, maybe we were wrong. Maybe
they're so convinced in their superiority and righteousness that they'll never see it.
And the good news about that is it's only going to sink that ideology even more.
Yeah.
And destroy that party.
The uneducated white women comment. I work in engineering with some really smart women, my wife included, and they were so mad at that. Like
when he said, when Scott Jennings said, we heard about women having to lie to their husbands about who to vote for. I mean, who do you think you are? Talking to the American people like that. And this is what they get.
What kind of relationship do you have if you have to lie to your spouse anyway?
Quick. So one thing that opposite of that is you actually have overly educated people that have been educated beyond their intellectual capacity.
Amen.
Overeducated. I like
They're
it.
overeducated, and that is who's leading that progressive movement.
That's Mark McMurray from Bluff City Outdoors. Also, fisherman Mike Marfell here. You can hear us continue this conversation and actually talk a little bit more about the great outdoors every weekend on the Bluff City Outdoors Show here on News Talk STL. Guys, thanks so much for your
thank you, Tony.
Input and time this afternoon. Emily and I will be back tomorrow at 2:00. In the meantime, keep it here for the O'Reilly Report next, followed by the Tim Jones and Chris Arp Show on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Step into a world of enchantment this holiday season with Cirque Musica Holiday Wonderland. From awe-inspiring acrobatics to gravity-defying aerial feats, it's the perfect fusion of circus artistry and beloved holiday songs in a celebration guaranteed to create memories for the entire family. December 5th, 7 p.m., the Family Arena. On sale at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. Inspire your holiday spirit with Cirque Musica Holiday Wonderland.
The Roots and Boots Tour 90s Electric Throwdown with Sammy Kershaw,
That's my story.
Colin Ray,
Oh, that's my story.
and Aaron Tippett.
She ain't a Cadillac.
Saturday, November 9th at the Family Arena.
But there ain't nothing wrong with
Reserve
her.
seats on sale now at the Carroll House Furniture box office located at the Family Arena or at Ticketmaster. Roots and Boots Tour 90s Electric Throwdown.
Looking to enhance your outdoor space? Trust Lime Concrete Block, your local experts since 1947. From Vertiblock and retaining walls to ready-mix concrete and outdoor kits, we've got all your residential and commercial needs covered. As a family-owned business, we take pride in our A+ BBB rating and industry affiliations, with special discounts for military and first responders. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or distributor, make a decision set in stone. Call 314-638-9940 or visit our showroom today.
Need reliable auto service from people you can trust? Look no further than Western Tire and Auto. For over 15 years, we've been your complete automotive repair center, family owned and operated, with owner Dean Kleethermes bringing 30 years of industry experience. At Western Tire and Auto, you're not just a customer, you're family. We promise 100% satisfaction, treating you with the transparency, respect, and honesty you deserve. Visit us in St. Peters or in Florissant. For appointments, call or check westerntireauto.com. Western Tire and Auto, your local automotive experts since 2008.
On December 19th, gather with the people who keep us safe. The David Dorn Foundation invites you to Cheers and Charity Christmas Happy Hour at Toy Drive. If you have a heart for our heroes, join us for just $20. Enjoy a festive evening of food and fun. Kids under 12 are free. Bring a toy or gift card for first responder families in need. Santa will be there for photos with the little ones and the big ones too. All the proceeds help our heroes. For details